obstacles. But I want to encourage you today that you can get over that thing, man. And sometimes things happen to just remind you. What do you mean, Michael? Well, sometimes we because we're human, because we're innately flawed, sometimes we can forget the simple things. But sometimes the simple things can be so great. So what am I really trying to say? Um Sometimes we can look at thank you as a simple thing, as a small thing. But I'm here to tell you today that thank you goes a long way. Say that again. Repeat that to yourself. Thank you goes a long way. Because thank you is like one of those things that it pays it forward, right? Like you don't say thank you to keep receiving. You say thankful to show your gratitude, but your gratitude keeps things happening for you to say thank you. It's almost like a pure thank you from your heart. It's almost like prayers. See, when you pray, we do pray out of relationship, but sometimes when we pray in the spirit, we don't know what we're praying for. Or when we're just spending time with God in our closet, we don't know what we're praying for. We're just spending time with him. But those prayers, they go on assignment. And sometimes it may be 10 years from now that particular prayer caught up with what I am in now. It was 10 years ago, but it's here for me now. As a matter of fact, somebody grandmama prayed for you, and grandmama been gone for 10 years, but that prayer is relevant for you today. And so what I'm trying to say is thank you goes a long way. We always got to have a thankful heart, a grateful heart, because, what if, and I want to take it back to God, what if he took away the things that we should be grateful for and thankful for? And so we don't thank him because of the things, but because of the things we thank him. You see? So now this may seem like a small thing, but the principle can still be applied, right? So I had a little mishap over the weekend with some equipment, and the equipment is needed for the show. It's needed for the station. It's needed for the show. But can you hear me this morning? Can you hear me loud and clear? I'm still able to talk to you. And the reason I am is no goodness of my own, but God showed me, because of a thankful heart, I will still allow you to be able to do the things that you need to do, even when seemingly you shouldn't. All right. So long story short, my computer is completely useless now. A very, very expensive piece of equipment from one of the craziest, most minor mishaps is now no good. It's a very integral part of the show, right? Very integral part of all of the things that I do entrepreneurially, right? But you can still hear me this morning. Like that may be a small thing to some, but that's huge. There's a principle here that I want us to get, that I want us to see, so that we don't pass over this teachable moment. And so, but I have to repent. I had to rebuke myself, because yesterday, when I found out that it was not salvageable, I was mad. Yes, I was mad. I thought about the money that was spent. I thought about all the stuff that was on the computer. And I was mad. Not thinking about all the while, again, this might be small to you, but this big for me. All the while, God was setting up stuff so that if it did happen, which it did happen, I don't miss a beat. From buying a 2 terabyte hard drive. So that means that everything that was on that computer, I have it. Like, again, I'm talking about a computer, but it's a principle. And so a lot of times we don't get it right. Yesterday, I didn't get it right because I was mad. But today, I'm able to say, wow, even when I didn't know that I was something as small as a computer, I get it. But even when I didn't know that my computer was going to not be viable anymore, God allowed me the intelligence to say, hey, let me get this hard drive so that I can switch back in. And the reason, and I didn't even get the hard drive for the purpose of the computer not working. I got it so that I could be a little more mobile. So anyways, I'll get another computer. No big deal. But I just wanted to share that with you all to say, remain thankful, remain grateful. God is orchestrating things that we don't even know about. As a matter of fact, it's already done. Like I told you last week, God knows the beginning from the end. So everything that's ever going to happen, he's already seen it. It's already done. It's like when you put a puzzle together. Maybe that's not a good one because, and let me tell you why the puzzle is not good, because you don't know how you arrived at that puzzle. In other words, you can't take it apart and put it right back together because you got to search for pieces and things of that nature. So it's more so like a movie. If you make a movie, if you write a movie, if you produce a movie, you know everything that's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen, at what time. And because of that, you know how to go back and fix what it is you want to fix or need to fix because you wrote it. You know every timestamp, you know the lines, you know how to find the lines, you know how the characters should be, you know the tones they should use. Don't you think if you can do that, if you can do it and you're only made in his image, imagine the things that he has done and can do. He's the only one that can step outside of time and change time. As a matter of fact, he's not influenced by time. He gave us time as a gift to measure ourselves and the things around us. So the point in all that is be grateful. Now, listen. All of the precautions that we took surrounding coronavirus in March and April, folks, we need to go back to that. Get you some Lysol, get you some alcohol, spray the alcohol, spray the Lysol, get you some gloves, wear your mask. Now, we're not going to move in fear, but we're going to move in wisdom. Now, the coronavirus has not gone anywhere. As a matter of fact, the cases are now going back up, almost resembling, and they will resemble and even surpass what they were when the virus first became widespread. So, but here's the advantage that we have this time. Think about March and April. Think about if we knew then what we know now, the different moves that we would have made. Right? So I know that if I do the necessary things, I know what I can do. So I know now that I can go outside, but I need to be wise. I know now how to move around certain places because God gave us time. Basically, he gave us time to see how to deal. So just use wisdom. It has not gone anywhere. In my opinion, I don't think you should send your children to school, but that's on you. I don't think if you go to a large assembly, whether it be whatever religious group you're part of, hopefully it's church, but I don't think you should go to large groups. You know, if you got to go to work, sanitize. Like, we know now, we know what to do. Take your vitamins. Everybody should be taking some vitamin C, some vitamin D. You need some zinc. And I listen, I can't tell you enough the benefits that ginger has for your body. Get you some ginger and eat right. If you can go, and I ain't trying to sway nobody, eat what you want to eat. But if you can go without eating meat, do it. If you can go without eating dairy, do it. If you're going to eat meat, try to eat clean meat, if it's a such thing. The cleanest that you can find. The leanest that you can find. Yeah. Do those things. We got to stick around here for the things that God has in store for us. All right? We got to do it. It's still much life to live. Don't be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. So don't forget, coming up next hour, we're going to be talking to a tax professional. I asked you if you had any questions to let me know. As of now, I haven't seen any. But if you're listening to me and you have questions, you can hit me up, of course. You can email me. I'm always watching the emails at the Mike Brown Morning Show at gmail.com, or you can hit me up right on Instagram at the Mike Brown Morning Show, or you can hit me up on Facebook at Mike Brown. It's just Mike Brown on Facebook. All right. I'm going to read this article that the Wall Street Journal has out surrounding the coronavirus. All right, it says new U.S. coronavirus cases increase for third straight day. The number of daily coronavirus infections reported in the U.S. grew again, with an indicator suggesting cases have been rising for more than 2 weeks. The U.S. reported more than 60,000 new COVID-19 cases Tuesday, according to the data compiled by Johns Hopkins University up from 58,387 a day before, and the third straight day, the number of newly reported cases has increased. The U.S. has reported more than 8.2 million infections in total. 8 million? Wow. Accounting for more than a fifth of the world's nearly 40.8 million cases. More than 221,000 people have died of the coronavirus in the U.S., and more than 1.12 million have died globally. The 7-day moving average of new cases, which smooths out irregularities in the data, was 58,397 Monday, and the 14-day moving average was 53,970, according to a Wall Street Journal analyst of Johns Hopkins data. When the 7-day average is higher than the 14-day average, it suggests infections are increasing. The 7-day average has surpassed the 14-day average for 15 days, the longest it has done so since a 43-day stretch that ended July 26. Monday's 7-day average was the highest since August 4th. Hospitalizations in the U.S. continue to rise as well. There were 39,230 people with the disease in hospitals as of Tuesday, according to the COVID tracking project. That is the most since August 22nd and the 8th consecutive daily increase. Listen, the reason this is happening is because we have become too comfortable because we didn't get sick. Thank you, Lord. First of all, thank you that we didn't get sick. Thank you. If you have gotten sick, thank you that you brought me through it. Thank you that you brought my family member through it. But we cannot afford to get laxed. I don't care what Donald Trump is doing and or saying. We can't afford to become laxed. So let's do what we know that we can do. God's going to do the rest. But what's the scripture say? Faith without works is dead. You know why I like that? Because it doesn't just suggest that God is going to do something, but it also puts us on the hook as well. Right? It's like without faith, it's impossible to please God. So I'm walking in faith. I'm pleasing God. Now, in addition to that, I need to do some work, because me pleasing God without works is dead. Me pleasing God without doing something behind it is dead. It's almost action. It's like actions, how we said, actions speak louder than words. You can talk until you blue in the face, but until you put legs behind your words, you ain't saying nothing. So I'm serious about that, y'all, for real. So I'll be back with some more news. And again, if you got some tax questions, even if you don't, we're going to have some beneficial information for you. Don't go anywhere. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show. We'll be back shortly.
Wake up. Right here. The Mike Brown Morning Show. Wake up, baby, you wake up. Hit it in the morning. Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Right here on the Urban Uplift.
A couple of clips I want to play. One is, well, here's a random thought or a random fact. I didn't know Mike Pence had a radio show. I don't know if he still has it, but I didn't know he had one. While he was governor, apparently. Okay, look, it's a couple of clips I want to play. I want y'all to be in the know. So they're still going back and forth as it relates to a stimulus package. Donald Trump is trying to hold it hostage until after the election, and in my opinion, hoping that he will be able to get some votes based on him acting like he gonna do it if you vote for him, I guess. But here's another thing I find interesting. Kirstie Alley, the actress, she probably is most remembered or known from her role in Cheers. But anyways, she's on the Hannity show, and she's a Trump supporter. So I want y'all to hear. Supposedly she got backlash because of her support of Donald Trump. So let's check it out. I told y'all sometimes, well, I do need a producer, but bear with me. Here it is, though.
Joining us now to explain is actress Kirstie Alley. Well, first of all, you're brave to come on this show. I give you a lot of credit. You will be hit hard. Prepare yourself. Welcome to my world. You know, the water's warm. You should rot in hell. You don't have a brain. They've attacked your deeply held and personal religious beliefs. Why? Why do you think it's that vicious?
They always attack the same three things. That, I'm a fat, irrelevant Scientologist. So, but, this has been going on for 40 years. So I'm sort of prepared. That really is basically all they have to offer. So I honestly don't take it too personally because I feel that people are angry and they have the right to say what they want to say. And I have the right to block them if I don't like the way they speak. And why did it happen? It's funny because I've been talking about Trump now for several months. And the other night I put out a tweet that simply said that I voted for him the first time and this time because he's not a politician. So then I got all this flood, I think thousands and thousands going, do you know the definition of politician? Do you know what a politician is? Do you know what And I do. And I know they know what I meant. And what I meant was that he's not a career politician. And, we have a history in this country of people, not as much currently, but of people of different occupations like farmers and tailors and oilmen and businessmen and generals coming in and servicing our country as the president of the United States. And even many of them, when they left, they went back to their other job. So I like that Trump has a lot of energy. I like that he has more energy than any human being I've actually ever seen. And I think that the big thing that I was mentioning in that tweet was that I'm really tired of career politicians. I'm tired of paying people to do nothing and take way too long to do it. And I feel like this is what I would do to solve this, Sean. They should have a base salary, and then they should be paid if they have any accomplishments. Like they should have a base salary, and for every accomplishment,
don't hold your breath.
A performance bonus, kind of like a hooker.
You spoke out I read your Twitter feed. You're against socialism. You're against career politicians. You also said something. You took on Joe Biden, which very few people will take on, and that was on the issue of race. He praised as his friend and mentor a former Klansman. He partnered with that former Klansman to stop the integration of schools because he didn't want his kids going to schools that were racial jungles. Why does Hollywood accept that if you're a liberal Democrat, which they'd never accept from anybody else?
I don't know. It's why I, have to just think for myself because, when your gaffes are constantly, when he said, what did he say? You ain't black if you're not voting for me. And then these constant gaffes that have these actual racist overtones. And I'm like, no, maybe you get one where you accidentally said something inappropriate.
Oh, it's not one.
It's pretty constant.
Let me just say this.
Biggest deal with, it is constant, isn't it? Those are racial slurs.
Let me just say, you have a lot of courage. I admire you for doing it. And I can accept liberal views. They ought to be able to accept our views, but they can't. Thank you, Kirstie. Best of luck.
Safe energy delivery is paramount for all of us. Enbridge is working with the state of Michigan to build a tunnel for Line 5 deep under the Straits of Mackinac. We're replacing energy infrastructure, and we're enhancing safety where it matters most.
Okay, here's the thing. Why do Trump supporters why do they feel, how can I say it? This is the best way to say it. At some point, if you feel like it's you or y'all against the world, or you feel like you may be going against the grain, or you feel like, how come nobody understands? Maybe because you're wrong. Maybe. And I don't agree with Donald Trump having more energy than anybody. She said he's the most energetic person. Listen, I don't understand. I don't get it. But what I want us to do is be prepared no matter what. Again, it sounds like I'm harping on this, but I mean, it's election season. So this is what it is. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have a candidate. But we still got to vote. So make sure you go. Make sure you do your due diligence. Go and vote. You know, I was sharing this with someone last night. We talk a lot about our ancestors fighting and dying for our rights to vote. And that is true. They did. But a lot of times we get bamboozled into thinking it was about being able to vote for president. I think our ancestors were smart enough to realize that wasn't what they fought for. I think our ancestors fought for what they could change in their communities. I think they understood that it happened from the inside out. If they could control, or if they could have a voice in what happened in their community. And I think it's no mistake that the national election or the general election, the way it's designed, it takes away from the matter at hand, in my opinion. And I also think that, here's an idea. What if the presidential election was a different time, or at a different time than when we vote for everybody else? Think about that. Then what that would do is it'll take a lot of the nonsense, or it would make the main thing the main thing. It would help us focus on what it is that impacts our communities. See, and here it is. The president, whoever it is always going to be for the white people. I don't care what y'all say. He's the president for all people. Yeah. But at that high in the game, at that level, white people win. Period. So, with that being said, the presidential elections are always going to be for them. But they're so polarizing that they take the focus off of what's important. So what if that happened at a different time? Now we can focus on the main thing, and that's our communities. Speaking of that, if you live in Harper Woods, I want you to go and vote for Rebecca Coleman for judge. And she's going to be here on the show tomorrow. I want you to check it out like you're doing right now. I want you to listen in. All right. There's another clip I want to play as it relates to the stimulus package or deal. And I'll be back.
Do you remember when Republicans used to sound like this?
I'd like to see something done about the illegal alien problem that would be so sensitive and so understanding. These are good people, strong people.
Rather than talking about putting up a fence, why don't we work out some recognition of our mutual problems, make it possible for them to come here legally with a work permit, and then while they're working and earning here, they pay taxes here.
But now, Trump's Republican Party has become this.
When Mexico sends its people, they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
It's time to reclaim the Republican Party from Donald Trump.
GM Employee Program participants with a current eligible Buick lease, get this low-mileage lease on this 2020 Buick Envision Preferred for $229 per month for 36 months.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is now optimistic the Democrats may be able to reach a deal with the White House on a new COVID-19 relief package and get that aid out by early next month. But Senate Republicans, she says, aren't on board. Yvonne Louie joins us with more this morning. Good morning.
Well, that's right, Andrew. The White House and Democrats are still trying to work out a deal, but Senate Republicans are ready to throw in the towel. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has reportedly encouraged the White House not to commit to a deal until after the election. He is worried that this could affect the timing of a vote over the Supreme Court nominee, as well as divide the GOP caucus ahead of the election. Now, Senate GOP Republican Mitt Romney said flat out that he is not going to support a $1.8 trillion price tag that the White House is offering, and he is not sure that that would even pass the Senate. Meanwhile, his colleague Kevin Cramer said that he's not sure the president can change anybody's mind.
Where he could get Republican votes if they would come to some sort of an agreement around that number. I'm not sure that there would be.
So still, the Treasury Secretary and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will be back on the phone again this afternoon, as her office does say that they are moving closer to an agreement. Guys, even though they blew past the deadline that she had set yesterday, she did say that it showed that both sides are serious about finding compromise. Back over to you.
So here's the question I'd have for you. And by the way, credit to Becky, because she's made this point over and over again that even if the president comes up with a plan, that the Republicans may not ultimately go along with it. What does that mean in terms of that disconnect for, I hate to say it, the politics of the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think that, first we saw division over dollars, then we saw division over policy. Right now, what we're seeing is a divide over politics. And I think the calculus for a lot of vulnerable GOP senators who are looking at whether they can even get reelected is, do they go along with what the president wants? We've seen people like David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler sort of double down on Trumpism ahead of their campaigns. But if they do that, do they risk alienating part of their base that are fiscal conservatives at heart? And people like David Perdue, who have been on the show multiple times, are people who have espoused that fiscal conservatism. So, this puts them in a really tough position. And that's why they just don't want to take this vote or have to make this decision before the election. This is something that politically could be better for them to kick the can down the road, see how things shake out on November 3rd, and then go from there.
Becky?
Which is, Andrew and Elon, I'll throw this out to both of you. I mean, that's kind of the point I've been making for a long time. Why wouldn't Pelosi say, okay, cut a deal with the president who does want to get $1,200 stimulus checks out to everyone with his name on it, and then put the pressure on the Senate? I don't understand why they didn't take this tack sooner, unless it's a situation where Nancy Pelosi can't control her own party either. She needs to talk tough on this, or she's not going to have the votes. I don't know the answer to that, but I mean, if you're playing politics, I don't understand why they didn't do this sooner. And if you want to make sure that you get a deal passed and you actually want to get money out, I don't know why they didn't do this sooner. It's stupid.
Well, hard to say that Nancy Pelosi wouldn't have her party with her, because they already passed, they've made multiple efforts in the House level to pass stuff before, and they have. So I'm not sure that Nancy Pelosi doesn't have her party with her.
The other thing is though, if you don't do it now, right now you have a president who is going to put pressure on the Republicans in the Senate. And if you don't win the Senate as the Democrats, then you are going to have an even less likely chance of getting anything passed post the election. Look, right now you've got a president who wants to get stuff out.
But let me raise one more point too, Becky. So is that, Pelosi has been saying throughout this process that she is optimistic about finding a deal, right? But she says she's optimistic and then lists the 15 points of where they have disagreements and where she says that President Trump disrespects science, isn't willing to crush the virus, et cetera. So by continuing these negotiations, she's actually able to keep a spotlight on the talking points that Democrats have been trying to hammer home, which is that President Trump doesn't have control of this. So perhaps by continuing to negotiate, she can continue to show the way that Democrats and Republicans are handling this differently, and that becomes a political advantage. I think that you're right in that they waited almost too long, and now that they're so close to the election, they simply can't bridge the political divide.
Shepard Smith here.
Now, do y'all see why I say all the time that we got to pray? Because we can't depend on them. They're more concerned about their agenda than they are about people. I mean, if it was about people, and about making sure that the economy was stimulated. It wouldn't matter what political agenda anybody had, but clearly it's about power. Just like I said, the Civil War, it was about power. People were pawns in that, just like we're pawns in this thing now. But don't be discouraged. If you haven't already gotten your book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, get it today. Because Friday, that's a day from tomorrow, we're going to be discussing it here on the show, the first 3 chapters. You can get it from Amazon. Now, it might be too late now. I'm not sure. I don't have Prime, so I don't know how quickly they deliver. But I wouldn't even chance it now if you want it. If you want to get those 3 chapters in and you already don't have it, you can order it for future references, or, you know, if you want to hold it in hand. But in order to be a part of the conversation on Friday, I need you to download it digitally. The way that I know for certain is if you go to the Books app on your Apple device, you'll be able to type it in there, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I know for certain that it's there. So make sure you do that. Why are we reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Well, it's because for one, I want us to educate ourselves. So this won't be the first book. I mean, this won't be the only book that we read. When we finish with this one, we're going to read another one. But why? Why Rich Dad, Poor Dad? There are some principles in the book that I think that we are not or were not privy to. And they are very, very fundamental. And a lot of us, because God is the one who gives wisdom, a lot of us have applied some of those things and didn't even know that they were principles that work. Some haven't heard of them before, but I want us as a community to look into it. Those that have already read the book, you may find new insight. I want us to, as a community, to look into it, because I really do believe, as a matter of fact, I got it on good authority. I sound like a preacher right there, didn't I? I got it on good authority that we are, as the Black community, coming back into power that's going to resemble what it was during Reconstruction. Except for this time, it's going to be even more powerful. We will have our own communities again that will be self-sufficient, that we won't need a stimulus check because the wealth in our community. Y'all think Atlanta is something. I'm telling you, wait until you see. Now, it's not going to come without some problems, but we will be well able. I'm telling you, see, everybody thought Noah was crazy until it rained. Y'all listen to me. Position yourself. I can't hear the word of the Lord. Position yourself. What does that mean? Do what it is that you can do now, because you don't want to be on the wrong side of it. So these things may seem small and trivial, but I'm telling you, do it. Learn about money. Understand that it's a tool. And any tool works if you use it right. If I have a Phillips screwdriver, I can't loosen or tighten a flathead screw. So although that's a screwdriver, it won't work on that screw. What am I saying? Money works. And it works for you. It's a defense. You just have to learn how to use it, right? So you got to learn how to use it. You got to respect it. Don't make a God out of it. That's foolish. But understand that it's a tool and it's a defense. Then, now some of y'all not going to agree with me on this. That's why I love being able to sit here, because I get to hear your opinions. And nobody's right or wrong. I mean, it's opinions. But get your credit straight. Don't just get it straight, get it good. Now, some people live life without credit. Hey, that's good too. Good for you. I believe you can leverage credit in a way that it don't have to be this liability that a lot of people paint. But that is up for debate, but that's the side that I'm on. Understand money. Get your credit right. Save. Invest. All those things. See, that's going to be a part of the community. Like, it's almost like you need those fundamentals to thrive in the community. That's coming. And it's going to happen this decade. Sure as my name is Michael, it's going to happen this decade. So position yourself. How can you do it? This is about to sound so crazy what I'm saying, but listen, I'm inspired today. Yeah, hear what I'm saying today. I'm inspired. How am I going to learn these things? I can't afford to go back to school. Oh, it's too expensive. I don't have the time. This is about to be mind-blowing. First of all, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. So, I mean, have your relationship with God. He'll show you in the word. That's first. Secondly, maybe not secondly, but I'm saying YouTube. I know it sounds crazy. YouTube. You ever notice if you watch Shark Tank, they say YouTube, I got my, and they were just joking around, but they say I got my degree from YouTube University. That's because YouTube works. Anything you want to know, you can find it on YouTube. I promise you. So you want to learn how to leverage credit? YouTube. You want to learn how to invest properly? YouTube. Now you got to use wisdom, because you got to use discernment and wisdom, because sometimes people arrive at different places different ways. But I mean, it's the same thing with school. I mean, one professor says it this way, another says it this way, but so you got to know who speaks to you. But I'm telling you, it's all there. What you need to know is there. I got so much controversy inside of me because what I just thought when I said that was, you know, they want you to go to school. They want you to get these degrees. And I'm not knocking it. I'm happy for you. But so that you could be accepted into what they deem acceptable. Sounds like integration to me again, all over. But hey, if it works, listen, I'm happy for you. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show. When we come back, we'll be on the line with Mr. Elbert Hawkins. We're going to talk taxes. I'll be back.
Wake up. Right here. The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, won't you wake up? Hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.
I think it was last week. Well, whenever the project came out, I played half of the album. That's what we do here on the Mike Brown Morning Show. We spread the love. They don't do that nowhere else. Nowhere else will they play half the album. So I think this week maybe we'll play the other half. Okay, listen, as promised, we've been telling you that we have our tax professional here with us today. He's been on before. He's a friend of the Mike Brown Morning Show, and we're excited because this is not. How can I say? He's going to be on every week, so this is who we're going to look for and look to help us with our taxes and everything, many things beyond that. So today we're going to introduce him again to the Mike Brown Morning Show family. He's going to tell us how he's going to help us navigate through what I believe is going to be the new Black Revolution. Everybody, welcome back to the Mike Brown Morning Show, Mr. Elbert Hawkins.
All right. Hey, Mike, how you doing this morning? I'm happy to be on with you this morning, sir.
Man, thanks, man. All is well, man. We happy to have you.
Yes, sir.
I've been telling everybody since I've been back on the air, I feel like an advocate or a I guess that's the best word I can use right now for the Black community. Like I'm going hard like never before for our people, and I never really had this in me, but I feel real militant about it now. And I think a big part of that or the outcome that I'm hoping for, and I know it's going to happen, is that financial freedom amongst our people.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely, Mike. That's great that you said it and you put it to people in that sense, because that is the new. I say not new, but that's definitely something that we all should be striving for, is being financial free. And one of the major parts of being financial free is make sure you have your tax situation taken care of. And so, absolutely, Mike, it's financial freedom. It's like no other, even we say free, but that's free from the traditional 9 to 5. That's free because it just frees up time. That's something that we all want more of, is more time. And being financially free will give you that additional time that you're looking for. You're not restrained to that traditional 9 to 5. You don't have those restraints on you. So absolutely, financial freedom, Mike, I believe that's the key to a lot of different things that people want in their lives. Absolutely, Mike.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it that way, because a lot of people think because you're financially free, that means that you may be rich.
Oh, no.
No. And so I'm glad you said that, because if you can sustain without being restricted by a job, then you are essentially financially free, and then you grow from there.
Absolutely. It's funny you brought that up, because it popped in my mind. I used to ask, people questions, just trying to get a gauge and an understanding on how they look at, finances. And I asked a question. I was like, hey, would you work, make $60,000, work, let's say 9 months a year, and you take 3 or 4 months off. You don't have to work no overtime. You don't have this, but you make $60,000 a year. Or would you work every day, day in, day out, the whole year, really don't take a break, and you make $100,000? And I found that interesting is that most young people say, well, they'll work every day the whole year. But older people say, no, I'll take the 8 months of the $60,000, because they understand that time that you have free, is that's what you're looking for, and you can maintain. So if you can start at 60,000 and then just kind of maintain that throughout the year, that'd be great. And you're not rich, but like you say, you're financially free. You don't have those restraints.
Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so because we're going to be having these conversations every week, I don't feel like how I felt before when we did traditional interviews, where I felt like I had to get a lot in. So
right.
So I'm gonna take it slow.
Absolutely.
And I want to start with the benefits of. Okay, let's take a person that has a job. They work every day 9 to 5.
Okay.
A lot of times they don't understand, that person may not understand that they can start a business, and that's how they can start their road to financial freedom with controlling taxes.
Yeah. So,
can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. So and I just give you from my perspective how I look at it and what I've seen and what I advise people. So they come in, they sit down and have a conversation with me, and I start doing their taxes, and I say, hey, is there anything outside of your normal 9 to 5 to help you make money? And most people, believe it or not, do something to make a little bit of extra money. It may be a hobby, it may be something they do at their house, they may watch kids, they may do hair. A lot of people, and when I'm in Texas, you're in Detroit, but a lot of people around here kind of like make plates. And so they use like, hey, they advertise they love food or whatever dish they made and come by and get a plate. Well, technically, that's your business. Okay. Now, how we look at it from a tax perspective is that not only should you be taking advantage of all the credits and deductions that comes along with that, but I tell people, hey, you start here, keep working your way up, and eventually you will become financially free. I had a buddy of mine, and just me and my wife thing on Friday, we go by his house. He makes these great catfish plates, fries, salad, the whole thing. And it's just like $10. But I say, man, you're doing good. So I turned my mom on, my auntie on, and all that. And he's a teacher, though. Listen, he's a teacher. And when it was time for him to go back to school, he was like, man, I don't want to go back. I say, I understand. I say, dude, he's like, I'm almost taking a pay cut because he have to go back to school. So him making these plates and all these different food items that he make out of his home, he said he was almost taking a pay cut. So I'm like, oh, dude, in a while, you're going to be to the point where you're going to really have to sit down and make a decision. Do you continue to go to this 9 to 5 that's going to hold you up for half the year and all this good stuff? Or do you just, do your business? Now, that's a decision that he's going to make. But over time, he's becoming financially free to the point where it's not a cap on his income. And we'll go into more details about cap on the income. But, you want to do something where there's not a cap on your income. Working at 9 to 5 and making that $15, $20 an hour, you can make that company $1 million. They're gonna pay you $20 an hour. They're gonna pay you $35 an hour. You can go work for yourself, and it's no cap. If you bust your butt and you go out here and work hard and you make $100,000 in 2 months, that's $100,000 that's in your pocket. And that's why I tell people, I was like, dude, I'm not going back.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
But it's going to take people with that mindset in order for us to build our communities like the Black Wall Street in the 1920s.
Absolutely.
I mean, because if we don't have people with that mentality, then who's going to be the owner of the grocery store in our community? Who's going to own the bank in our community, the insurance company, the funeral homes? Like, we have to have that mindset. Now we're not telling you to go quit your job.
No, not by all means. Don't do that. Not do that.
But what we are saying, okay, go ahead.
No, I tell people, I mean, you will know when it's time to make that change. You will know. You'll work your business. You'll get it to the point. You when it start taking away, and I'm feel like I'm sometimes talking to myself when I say this, but when it's taken away from what you should be doing, then or what you could be doing to build your own brand instead of building somebody else's brand, then you'll know, hey, it's time for me to do something different. And don't. People tend to let fear, doubt, the uncertain, the unknown, deter them from doing it. Okay, and I'm not here to say it doesn't play a role in a factor, because it does. But you cannot let that stop you from doing what you feel that you're meant to do. If God and people say, "Oh, the Lord told me to do," the Lord, I feel. Okay, the Lord. Okay, if the Lord told you to do it, then He's gonna take care of you. He's not gonna let you fail. It might get hard. I'm not gonna say it's not, because it's definitely gonna get hard sometimes. But you'll make it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I noticed that you said that over time, this is how this happens. You said the gentleman that you're referring to, it's almost like he would be taking a pay cut going back to the traditional workspace. Now, can you explain how, okay, as a business owner, you still have to pay taxes.
Yes.
Nobody is exempt from paying taxes. Let's just dispel that myth right now. Like,
yes.
like everybody pays taxes.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, there are consequences.
Absolutely.
So, but what is the difference in the person that owns a business and the person that works for someone else in taxes? And not in an amount, but just from a principle aspect.
Excuse me, class Richard.
Just one moment.
Did you receive? Were you able to log in?
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand your question correctly. Like you say, what is the difference between the business owner and how they take care of their tax situation as opposed to an employee? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I'm going to speak from a small business perspective, is that when you, as an employee, you work and you have employees. Now, it's different ways to set your business up and how you're going to pay your employees as opposed to what we consider 1099 self-employment employees, or you may have a traditional, what I call W-2 employees, where, you pay payroll tax, they pay federal income tax withholding and things like that. But what I believe you're speaking about is what's the benefits of being a business owner as to being working for a business. Okay, so when you're a business owner, then you're kind of like in control. You are in control of everything. You're in control. You get what I'm saying? So when you go out and make a purchase, like this past weekend, I went out and brought some furniture from one of the offices. I brought desks, computers, I brought a lot of stuff to get it set up. Well, I'm in control. So now when we make $10,000 or whatever, then I'm gonna write off expenses, because did I really make 10,000? No, I probably made like 6 or 7 because I had to pay for these expenses. And just on a small scale, that's how we're looking at it. And as opposed to being an employee, then yeah, you're gonna pay payroll tax, or as a business owner, pay payroll tax for employees and stuff like that. But being an employee, then you're gonna be you're not so much in control. You're letting people kind of dictate and tell you this is what you have to do, this is where you have to go, those types of things. So that's one of the major benefits that I'm seeing, as opposed to being a business owner and employee.
Mm-hmm. But in that example though, so for example, the computers. Okay, so you spent $10,000.
Yes, sir.
But you really spent 6.
No. So let me give you a scenario. I spent, I don't know, like 3,000. Brought some desks, brought some computers, like 3,000. Okay. So when it's time for me to report how much money I actually made, then I didn't necessarily make $10,000. You have to subtract what I spent.
Right.
Right. And so that's where the benefit sometimes come into play. And not only that though, you can write off all your expenses, and you're still in business. And then that lowers what they call your how much tax that you have to report. You get what I'm saying?
And so that equals savings though. Or it can equal savings.
It can. Absolutely. It can definitely equal savings. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
absolutely.
So with those savings, then you can reinvest. You can.
Oh man, it's like that's when you save. When you're able to save your money that you've made, okay, when you're able to save that money because you made that initial investment and then you keep on making investments, you're able to save. Okay, when you're able to save, Mike, that's one of the building blocks of being financially free. Because you'll wake up one morning thinking to yourself, like, do I really have to go do this? And then you're just like, well, can I be financially stable for the next 6 months? And eventually you'll get to a point and be like, yeah, I can, because I've saved. I prepared myself for what I want to do. I prepared myself for what I want to do. And that's a great feeling. That's like, really, like, man, I've worked, I've saved, I did what I was supposed to do I really want to go to this job where, like I take my friend, for example, if he had $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 saved up in the bank, he might would have thought even harder about going back. He might have even thought harder about it. He was like, you know what, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to give it a shot,
Yeah.
And then that makes you seed money that you need to go ahead and open up that restaurant, to open up that daycare, to open up that beauty salon, to open it up. And then you keep those same principles in place. But Mike, I could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
But just ask me this question, Mike, because
So
I'm learning so much, Mike. Like even at the point I'm at, I'm still learning, and I'll just talk about some more stuff. We'll talk about it. It's going to be an every week thing. So
yes,
I'm
sir,
excited.
for sure. But
things.
I want to end today's segment though with what I want everybody to come away with today is I don't care what you do, start a business.
Absolutely.
Now, I want you to speak to the benefits that those that have a business were able to reap during the course of a pandemic, and what benefits they may be able to reap again if another stimulus package is passed. And I want you to give me that in contrast to the people that did not have businesses. Yeah, and I'm talking from a small business perspective now too.
Absolutely. Okay, so and I go back. So in my mind, I'm going back to March, and I had a conversation with my mom. I say, Mom, it's going to be a lot of things that's going to become available to you, but you got to make sure that you're prepared to you have your business in order to make sure that you're able to take advantage of what's going to be offered to you. So what I did, I have a good friend. His name is Demond. He lives in Tulane, Texas. He worked in the oil field. So he called me, and I'm going to get to what you're talking about, but this is what I did for him, not knowing what was going to happen. So in January, he called me. He was like, "No, but I need to do my taxes." I said, "All right, cool, no problem. Let's do your taxes." And he said, "Well, I got a little business." I said, "You do?" I said, "What do you do?" He said, "Well, I drive trucks to try and get the business off the ground." I said, "Hey, man, go get you what we call a DBA, doing business as. And if you're going to take some notes, this note number one, get a DBA, doing business as. You can go to your local county clerk office. That's going to be what you need to quote unquote make your business official. Once you get that form, costs about $25-$30. Go down to your bank. That's step two to make yourself official. Go to your bank, open up a business bank account. Do those two things. In most cases, you'll become what they call solidify. You're actually business. You're in business. Even if you ain't made a dime, you're in business. Because, and I go to the conversation with mom. I say, Mom, if you get your stuff in order, you can take advantage of what's being offered to you. So when the stimulus package came out in March, when it came in April, then the SBA and they made all these different loans available to small businesses. Now, one of them was you had to show proof that you're a small business. Because my friend did what I told him to do back in January before we knew any of this was going to happen, he qualified. So he said, "Hey, man, I heard about this." I said, "Oh, yeah, we can do this for you because now you're solidified." So I'm telling people, and I tell everybody, small business, do the steps. Don't just be out here doing business just because you can do it. Make yourself official. Do it the right way. So if something does come down the pipe, then you're able to get in line and take advantage of it. Not to tell his business, but we end up getting him qualified for a loan that he don't even have to pay back. So now his trucking business, he could take the next step in his trucking business. And I tell you guys, I don't like quoting Bible verse because I don't get them right all the time, but I believe it's somewhere along the line say the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And so, if you do it the right way, then you can take advantage of it, and you can do that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. That could easily, that's the seed that he needed to go ahead and jump out there. So I tell people, go ahead and do what's required now. So if it comes down the pipe again, they pass another stimulus package and you qualify for a loan, that can be the seed money that you need to take the next step in making your dream come true and become financially free. Absolutely.
And all he did was start a business and open a bank account.
start a business, open a bank account, and he got that DBA. That's a certified certificate from your county, the county clerk office. And it's called a DBA, doing business as or assumed name certificate. They have different names for it. And that's, people say the LLC or the DBA. The DBA is very inexpensive. Do basically the same thing, just your liability is a little different. If you could step up and pay for an LLC, $300 or $400, do that. But if not, do the minimum, get that taken care of, so you can open up that bank account. So if something comes down the line, they say, well, do you have your assumed name certificate? Sure do. Do you have your bank account? Sure do. And that's where they're going to put that money in there for you. And then that could be the boost that you need to take the next step. Absolutely.
And so that separates you already from a person that may get $10,000 from a stimulus package or more, to a person that's going to get $1,200.
Absolutely.
Just by following 2 steps. And so I don't care if you write papers. I don't care if you sell cookies. I don't care if you paint. Go start a business.
Make it official. Absolutely. Make it official. Start the business. And that's funny you say, I work with a lady. She do some writing for me, and she's in Detroit and everything like that. She does some writing for me, and I don't know if she's taking those steps, but yeah, it doesn't matter, you guys. It truly, truly does not matter. Take those steps so you can, like you said, that's going to separate you from potentially getting 10 or more thousand to someone who's going to get 1,200. Absolutely. Just those 2 steps right there put you in the game. Absolutely.
All right, sir, man. I appreciate it. I can't wait. There's so much we could talk about. I can't wait to continue the conversation, man. So we'll look forward to hearing from you next week. And anybody that has any questions, you can inbox me. You can inbox Elbert. You can put it on our pages. We're gonna make sure we talk about it all. So
absolutely.
Yes, sir. So man, have a wonderful day, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, Mike Brown. Keep it up, man. You're doing great things.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's the Mike Brown Morning Show. This is where you get that wealth of knowledge. Here, we have fun. We play great music. We go on rants. But we give you the information that you need. That was rich. I sound old when I say that. That was rich information. I'm going to be back on Wednesdays. Well, I'll talk about it when I get back. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up. Right here. The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, when you wake up, hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Right here on the Urban Uplift.
You are tuned into the Urban Uplift. Oh my God. Always positive, always purposeful, always powerful.
Today, a great show. I hope that you had a good time. I hope you were inspired in some way today. I hope we said something that you can take with you. I hope you learned something that you could take with you. Go start a business. Do it. If you give a good advice, you're now a consultant. So, insert name here, consultancy. Go, like Mr. Hawkins said, if you don't want to spend the money on an LLC, you can still be in legitimate business by getting a DBA. Once you have either the LLC or the DBA, then all you have to do is go and open up a bank account. When this next wave of stimulus hits, if it does, we don't depend on the government, whatever. But if it does, you be on the other side of it. Don't just talk about the rich people and what they do, how they do. Of course, they benefit more. What we're talking about is on a very, very small scale. But if it works for them, it works for us. Don't you think for 1 minute that our ancestors, the ones that were a part of Reconstruction, the ones that built those black communities that were self-sufficient, don't think that they didn't figure out a way to take advantage of what the white people were taking advantage of? That's how they became self-sufficient. Because the truth of the matter is, when they make stuff available, it's available. But the thing that separates us from them is that they have the knowledge that we don't have. But because now we have the knowledge, we're unstoppable. We have the knowledge in masses. We're going to get it in masses. So that brings me back to why we're going to start our journey together with Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's going to inspire us to do greater. We're doing good now, but we're going to do great. I'm excited. It's been the Mike Brown Morning Show. I want you to have a wonderful, prosperous rest of your day. I want you to claim your day. I want you to tell your day how it's going to be. You have the power to do that. The power of life and death is in your tongue. So you tell your day what it's going to be. All right? We'll be back tomorrow. Before I go, I need you. First of all, let me say thank you, because you all have gone, those that I know are listening, have gone to subscribe to my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. It's going to be better. It's going to be greater. We're just starting off. So you're going to see other interviews and things of that nature on the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you for rocking with the Urban Uplift. You're probably already downloaded the app because you're listening to me. But tell other people, download the Urban Uplift. All right. So you got to download the Urban Uplift. You got to subscribe to the Mike Brown Morning Show YouTube channel. You got to subscribe to the Urban Uplift YouTube channel. You got to follow Urban Uplift on Facebook and Instagram. You got to follow the Mike Brown Morning Show. You got a lot to do. And you got to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the first 3 chapters before Friday. And you got to go start a business. So you got a lot to do. We got a lot of assignments. This is now your college. Yeah. I went out on a limb and said that. But this is now your college. This is your school now. So we in it together, though, because I'm here for it, too. All right? I want to end the show with this today. I love this song. Nobody's a nobody. God doesn't make mistakes. I'm always going to say it. I'm always going to play it. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Wake up. Right here. The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, won't you wake up? Hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Right here on the Urban Uplift.